We're gonna get started here in just a second. Hopefully, I sound good. Let me know so I can maybe adjust. The, okay, that sounds pretty decent. Okay, this is really all about trying to get everything right to where it sounds good. And to be a good podcaster, you need to make sure your sound is good. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Social media is strange because you never know what goes viral. You just keep doing things, trying different things, and there's a method to it. Some people have a method to it to go viral. They watch their videos, they watch their views, and they figure things out as far as how to get people to patronize or to go along with something. So anyway, we are here in the building, and actually we're doing this from my home studio. I used to do a bunch at the house, but I stopped doing it for whatever reason. But we're gonna do this one here at the house. And one of the things we're gonna talk about, because I see a lot of people discussing it, and it's about like immigrants and their kind of influence on the economy today. We have never seen anything like this, and I don't think we as a people are ready to quote unquote deal with the way that things are starting to be, and I think will be for a long time. Meaning that you see a lot of like, okay, say for instance, like on Sunday, that's a good day, a Sunday. You can go to every single park. You can go to Bradley Park. You can go to Glen Oak. You can go basically any park. The one down there, I think we used to call it Logan Park, and now I heard that they're at Proctor, and it's packed with Mexicans, packed, and they using the parks more than we using it. Like, and this is the crazy part. Okay, now we did have our stretch of time where we was out there, and we basically niggas get together, niggas gonna do what niggas gonna do. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a few games going on over here, but mainly the people like that I seen would go down there would be going down there to, you know, drink, kick it, parking lot pimp. Like we love doing that. Like we love parking lot pimping, and then it's food, it's music outside. So like that's the perfect thing for us. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the event, like nothing got done, accomplished except for maybe like a kickball game or something like that. Like nothing got elevated, except for the and I and I'm not against that because it's like we already come from such of a hard place. Like we that's what we like to do. We like to kick it, we like to hang out, but we never really accomplished at the end of it. Like what could you say? Like okay, that we did it without getting in fights, or we did it without somebody getting shot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an accomplishment, but it's a compliment. It's a compliment. it's a compliment, accomplishment. It's an accomplishment for us as a people. But you have to understand, other races look at it like, okay, like what did y'all just do? Like I could have got those dates, and we could have did our soccer thing. You know what I'm saying? Like some organized type deal, and that's kind of like my point to it. Um, with them buying up a lot of stuff and land and houses, because one thing you have to understand is like, okay, say if they like get Glen Oak Park, and it's a bunch of them out there Glen Oak Park. Glen Oak Park are allowing them to do that now. Logan Park are allowing them to do that now because they have property. They own property in the neighborhood. Some own a lot, some more than others. If y'all think the Mexicans are buying up property, it's true. But here's the thing: they was the first ones that did it. Like Asian community came in and bought up so much property. Like I had an Asian friend. I remember when I was just dibble diamond real estate, and I had an Asian friend, and I met this guy, and he had a couple of properties, some on the South End, and he was renting them out, and things like that. Like an Asian guy, like had a house where he was at, but he had a property on South End. We became friends. Like they learned early on, like the Asians when they got here, is to buy a property, and he wasn't making no more than $50,000 a year. I think it was something low. It was a real low number. Like I want to say it back then, like you know what I'm saying, that was maybe 10 or 20 years ago. He was making like I want to say like $15,000 a year. But because he was smart enough and someone told him or someone guided him to buy a house on the South End, just like a small house, buy a house on South End, and home, I'm sure that houses on South End were cheap now. They're probably going up in value because everybody's trying to buy them. But I'm sure back then houses were pretty cheap on the South End. So he might have bought this house for $25,000, something like that. You know, $500 a month rent payment. But holding on to it and then renting it out, that allowed him and the equity he had in it because he probably paid it off just working and paid it off. That allowed him to buy another house above the hill in Peoria. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe buy another house without just not even making a whole lot of money. I'm sure like his money was very well budgeted because he didn't like he wasn't flashy or nothing. Had a Hyundai, whatever they drove in. But and I'm gonna get to my point. But the thing is he didn't have a whole lot of money per se bringing in, but because of the decisions he made, he was able to live comfortably. And that's one thing we never get to. We never get to where we feel like a lot of us never get to feel like where we got to buy a house. That should be like number one, uno, is to buy a house off the top because that your house is always going to gain value more than likely, especially if it's in a nice neighborhood. It's going to constantly, it's not going to really lose a whole lot of value, but it's always going to gain value. And even like on South End, you might catch a house, fix it up, and it's worth two times the amount you pay for it. Like, where else are you gonna get unless you hit the lottery? Where else are you gonna have $25,000, flip it a little bit, and then it's worth $75,000, $80,000? Like like you almost like you won a lottery, but you played the lottery and you won, but you it was a strategic way. You knew you was gonna win. Like playing a lottery, you don't know if you're gonna win, but buying a house and fixing it up, you can guarantee that you're gonna win. So my point is somebody, I don't know if this is something they talk down a generation to generation. People come over here, maybe they have a set of rules or a set of standards that they tell everybody when they come over here. But they have the system down pat to where they are really fucking buying a lot of this property on the south end, north end, East Bluff, like foreigners. They're buying the land that we living on, and our cousins and uncles and people who fought. I don't know how you could say they was fighting for it or what they was fighting for, but fighting for the block. All of that now is owned by foreigners, and they honestly they really showed me something. They showed me foreigners. They showed me that it doesn't matter where, it don't matter really where you at, as long as you get enough people in that area to say, "Yo, we finna change things. We finna put clean up the neighborhood. We're gonna pick up trash." They showed me that really, you know what I'm saying? Because we live on a block and the alley be horrible. The alley is something sometimes you don't even want to go back in the alley. You know what I'm saying? And it just be like you may have your shit together, but then your neighbor shit be his shit be all wrong, garbage everywhere, letting the dog out, shitting everywhere, not picking it up. You know, all of those things contribute to having a nice neighborhood. And I used to think like, hey, the South End is just helpless. Like, ain't nothing gonna really get the South End together. But like, and I'm not saying they the only ones, but the really the Mexicans and the people who really like our black people who really cherish their house and want to see their house stay in good condition down there. Like the combination of those two, and then you have white people sprinkled in too. That they making sure their house is decent on the south end. Older white people, people that's been there for years, they making sure that they keep the neighborhood up and things like that. But the combination of all three of those things have made the South End kind of look, I mean, look better. And then the businesses that came in, they got blocks and blocks, this block and this block, and the churches are fixing their spot up. But that's the whole thing about it when you think about it. Like, we got a lot of churches, but when it comes to businesses, the foreigners got it on lock. Now, churches are good, but churches don't employ people like that. They may have a few people that do a few things that get paid some monies. But what I'm talking about is a job that's paying you $65,000 or something like that a year, or however much money these foreigners get. But the thing is, some of these Arab guys, when they come over here, this is one of the biggest things to me that separate us from, let's say, foreigners, because when they get over here, then they're promised a job. Yes, they may have to work a lot of hours for a few years, or they tax exempt at that moment, so they may have to work a bunch of hours to get to a goal of owning their own store. So they may have to work a bunch of hours, but they know they're being told when they get in here, basically you're on a business plan program. You don't have no college, you don't have no good education, you don't have really you may have some schooling, but what you gonna do with it? Don't nobody want to hire you. So we're gonna bring you over here to the States, and you're gonna work 2 years till you're able to get your own business, and then you can bring other people in, and we're gonna keep it moving. You tax free. I'm gonna put my business in your name, because now I can get 6-7 years of tax free, because every time one run out with a two, then I'm bringing somebody else training them, but secretly I'm putting his name, my business in his name. He gonna work for me for 2 years, and we gonna make some money. And Arab told me this way back when I was little, like I was 13 years old. I went in there. I think it was 505, whatever 505 on Milman, whatever it turned into. I went in and I was asking, I was like, man, why you always in here? You working every day? And he told me, he was like, all I gotta do this for 2 years. He said, I gotta do this for 2 years. That's what he told me. He said, then I'm gonna have my own store. And you get your own store, then that's why you see them. You only see people in there for like 2 years, unless they own it. If they got a portion of the Arabs. This is the thing about them. They have a mean work habit. Like, they can own. a store like Mason owns that gas station, but Mason gonna come into work every day. Like he not gonna take too much time off. He not gonna spend his time looking for a employee. And I really don't know how to do that. Like, cause they, they got their wife and stuff, but that's how they're disciplined like that. Is to go in every day until you might be old, but going every day because this is your store. He got multiple stores. 9 times out of 10, Mason visits his majority of his stores every day, even after pulling like a 9 hour shift. He gonna go see on the other stores because that's his work. That's their work habit. That's what their religion is like. And they get their kids got nice shit. You know what I'm saying? And they building a life. They're building a life that a lot of us are never gonna be able to see a life like that. You know what I'm saying? So they know what they doing. It look weird, working holidays. They don't get no time off. They don't get to enjoy their life until a certain period of time, or maybe they hit a certain amount of millions or something. Then they back off or whatever. But they be in them stores like until what I'm saying. And like them young guys down there on Laramie, like they it's three or four of them. They probably own portions of that store. They not just no workers. That's what you have to understand. They not just no workers. They own that shit. They just humble like that. Unless you hear someone talking. I used to this when I used to live on East Bluff, and I came out of one of those. So I used to walk back and forth to the store when I got my car stolen, and I heard like 4 or 5 of them. They were like, "Man, we own this block. We own this block. We own the block over on Sheridan. We own the block on Knoxville." He was like, "We finna take over the whole Peoria." I mean, this is the way they was talking, and I was surprised they was talking to each other in English. But he must have thought like, cause they influenced by our music and shit like that. So to him, he was having one of them moments, one of them feel good moments. He was having one of the feel good moments, and he just forgot to take his humbleness down. And I'm telling you, everything I love, I came out of the store, and he was like, "We own this shit." He was talking to some other Arabs. He was like, "We own Knoxville. We own Sheridan." He's like, "We own all of Peoria. We own this shit." They buying this shit. They buying the whole building. When you go on Sheridan and you see them stores, maybe except for Jimmy C's, the rest of that shit is foreign. From all the way down to Mason across the street, the hair store, and Mason has a portion in all of that. Yeah, all them buildings, they bought all of that shit. And that it ain't never coming back to black people ever. It wasn't never gonna go to us. I think it might have been some white people or Arabs or something like that who own that shit. But it it ain't going back. What's the other one? When you going down when you going on Sheridan, or no, when you going like you going on Sterling. What street is that? You go off University, War Memorial. Yeah, War Memorial, and you know that liquor store. You got the liquor store, not War Memorial. What the hell am I talking about? Forest Hill. Forest Hill. I'm talking about Forest Hill. Help me out, please. So Forest Hill. When you go down Forest Hill, that liquor store is owned by foreigners. The building across the street, with the laundromat, all that's owned by foreigners. The gas station across the street, that's owned by foreigners. The whole property. I'm saying the only thing that's not owned by foreigners, well, I don't know, is that Family Dollar across the street. And you look into that, is somewhere, it probably is somewhere down, but I think that's a chain. So they buying whole blocks. And the South End is just about bought up. Only business you gonna get on South End. I'm not talking about down on the riverfront, but most of them buildings they ain't no good. I can't believe they brought up that bakery. That bakery down there, that's Arabs. That's why they got that store right there. They put that store right there, but they bought up the whole warehouse, that whole bakery bread. That's why you see it gated off because they be having trucks, semi trucks come in with merchandise. It's probably somebody who's sending shit everywhere. I knew a guy who used to ship. They used to let him drive, and he would take stuff to Chicago. So they have a once one because they don't go nowhere else. That's the thing. They don't shop with nobody else. You won't never really see too many. Uh, some stuff they have to get name brand in their store. They have to have name brand shit in their store. They can't just, what I'm saying, be wild west. But whatever they can get and not get really in trouble for bringing in, they gonna bring in. Ain't no outside, no nothing. We gon' the A-Rap. It's gonna be an A-Rap truck to come in and bring shit in. You see, they showed this shit on the Shy when they showed about the whole square single business. The singles, the squares. That's a whole business, my nigga. Like a lot of these stores probably pay their rent with cigarettes, with the single cigarettes. Because if you think about it, you bust a pack down and how much they sell a pack down, they getting that pack for a 300% increase. So yeah, it's crazy, man. Like we just we my phone is going viral right now. We are just we kind of far behind, like on a lot of stuff, and that's the reason I wanted to do this podcast. We're gonna do more series because I don't want to throw everything out there to get people confused. But there's a lot of things we have to talk about because we kind of far behind, and we to a point we don't even want to stick together. That's one of the biggest things that's gonna hurt us more than anything is our lack of wanting to stick together, our lack of wanting to hold hands and build something together. We ain't on that. Like if a Mexican need his house done, he not gonna go to call nobody who got their license or call an electrician. He gonna call somebody he know that's Mexican. They're gonna get together and they're gonna do it together. And they gonna get the job done. That's how they save money. The Asians won't go to no bank and borrow no money from the bank. They'll borrow money from each other, probably low interest, or just make sure you pay me back on time. And that's how they keep the money going. Like for real, you don't hear about no. I rarely hear about Asians in court talking about he owe me money because they don't do it like we do it. If you owe somebody money and then you can't pay them back, they probably make you work it off or something. But we be trying to kill somebody that don't owe us some money, and we they can't pay us back, and they owe us money. We be trying to kill somebody. It's a different atmosphere, which allows them to prosper. All of these things are meant for their survival, and they just stick into the code. No matter what they see us do, we don't care what you're doing. We don't care. We could be neighbors, and they could be cool with us, but they still gonna do what they do. The first thing Mexicans do when they get in the buy a house in the hood is they put up a fence, a privacy fence. Just that one thing right there means more than we understand. That means we own our own. We ain't fucking with nobody else. What goes on back here is between me and who Julio, whoever we invite over, our kids. They ain't finna be playing with y'all kids like that. They ain't finna be getting down like that. Y'all kids twerking. We ain't on all that shit. We are in your neighborhood because this is what we can afford right now, but we got a plan. We're gonna come up right where we at. We ain't gonna go spend our money. We're gonna come up. We're gonna buy this land and we're gonna come up. and that's what the fuck they do. I seen an Arab on the East Bluff. Him and his wife be out there painting the house by themselves, and they painted that whole motherfucking house until it was done. It took them a couple of days, whatever, took a couple of breaks, but they painted that whole motherfucking house by themselves. He might have some help. A couple of friends come over sometime. They painted that whole motherfucking house. That mean they didn't spend an extra dime getting nothing else, hiring nobody else, nothing. They did that shit by themselves. Kids sitting back, oh y'all sit down, y'all play, and we painting. Niggas ain't finna do that. That looks foreign to us. I'm just me thinking about it. Look foreign to me. Who gonna sit down and paint a house? But you do that type of stuff when you're trying to maximize your money. A lot of stuff we've been taught different and maybe not the most efficient way. I'm not saying the wrong way, but it might not be the most efficient way to do things in life. That's why I honestly believe. But they have work ethics from where they're from, so they home. So it's not like they don't know how to do this and how to do that. They do, but this type of behavior, it seems like it would have to be taught to them. So when you get over here, this is the type of way that you can really use the American system for what it is. Now, I'm gonna point to this point where somebody had inboxed me, and what they had said was they was talking about how their store, they all the time they try to keep low prices so black people can come in because they know black people like a lot of good stuff for their kids, and some of that stuff be expensive, but he keep his prices low. And he said now he gets so many Arabs in there and foreigners in there with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They buying up all his stuff because it's cheap. When they get over here, this money is provided to them. There is an easy way for them to get their hands on finances, and we're gonna talk about that. But now he's to a point where he has to raise his prices so he can keep some merchandise in there, which is gonna hurt the small people, like the black people who want nice stuff, who can't really afford stuff. He gonna have to raise his prices. If he don't, he won't keep merchandise. So you can't be like, okay, for the black people you get this price, and for the Arabs you get this price. That's discrimination. You can get sued for that. So he's only option. His only option. He said they gave him so much money that it changed his life. Like they paid. If you anybody who worked in a retail store, whether I used to work in a furniture store, any type of retail store, Arabs and Africans come at night when everybody gone. That's when they come to do their shopping. I don't know what the theory is in that. I wish one of them would tell me, but they will come in the last 30, 45 minutes when you counting your drawer down. That's when they come in. I want this. I want that. I want this. This dude came in this furniture store, and I think he came in there with his friend. His friend had just got here from Africa. I mean, this was not no cheap store, furniture store, not no UFS store. This is a real ass furniture store. Like people was balling. He literally came in and was like, "I want this, this, this for him." Hook him up. I think before he came in and got shit for his apartment first, then came back and got his boy shit for his apartment. And you could tell about the clothes they had on. I think he had like gym shoes, soccer gym shoes. So you could tell that shit was expensive just by looking at it. Hundred, all cash. That they pay with all cash. Like it will blow your mind. You have never seen nothing like this. You think like a baller out here got cash? Okay, cool, true indeed. But I'm telling you, like these Africans don't even look like they own that sometimes. be having more cash than you ever seen in your life and just be spending it. They ain't finna throw it in the air and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying, with strippers, but they gonna pull out and they gonna buy whatever the fuck they want to buy. Like some of these young, I don't ever see no older African do it. They probably calm down by then, but them older Africans have a lot of nice shit. But them young ones, I'm they finna spend. Give me that. They don't even care how much it costs. That's what I'm trying to relate to you. A lot of them don't even care how much it costs. If I like it, I want it. Sometimes like a star, when a star from the shop somewhere, he'll tell everybody, leave so I can shop. It might be that type of feeling. Now that I think about it, it might be that type of feeling. Like I'm gonna wait till everybody gone. That way I can feel like I can shop without nobody in my way. I can, because that literally that's how they be. Is I want that, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, and they'll pick out whatever they want and add it all up, and I'm gonna pay for cash. Like it's insane. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank y'all for watching. My name is Johnny Johnny. This is Johnny Live. I hope y'all go back and check it out. And make sure y'all sharing it, liking it, and all that good stuff. We're gonna be doing some more from the house. And also the studio, and we're gonna be doing it from Empire, which has a grand opening soon. So let's make sure we check out that grand opening on Sterling. Make sure y'all check out that food. John be hooking it up, and we're gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for watching.